next Stav-Tech video, and this is a bit of a weird one. It's about my crap car, which is a Volvo, which I've had for 2 years, and it's fucking brilliant. Bought for 400 quid, just because I had a year's ticket on it and it was tidy and needed a run around, and it turns out it's way better than I thought it was. It's properly bloody good actually, and if it weren't for the fact I've got too many cars now and I'm not, it's got a funny starting problem which I don't know if it's going to affect the emissions or MOT time, I'd keep it, but I can't, I got no need for it and I can't be dealing with messing about, worrying about fixing it, so it's going. I'd like to see what the actual times are, so I've got the Racelogic timing equipment here, and I'm going to check basically. Car's completely standard. I probably would have remapped it, but having a quick read of the forums, all the people with these cars reckon these engines are stupidly weak and crack liners just by remapping them and stuff. So no thanks. I mean, people say a lot of things about when cars engines blow up, and for all I know that's because every one of these remaps is done by some dodgy clown who can't, you know, map a car to save his life, because debt will kill her, you know, debt will crack a liner and do a piston or whatever much quicker than a car with no debt. So maybe all these maps are debting. I don't know, but it's a 400 quid car, so I didn't care enough to find out, and it's so good as it is I didn't want to take the risk. Tell you what, this one is really good. I don't know if it's just luck at Volvo got it right, but it's just really in tune with the engine. It basically is really responsive. Changes up and down exactly when you want it. You know, all the time. It happily rev it out to the red line, no problem. You know, it never does anything, or almost never, where I'm thinking, oh fucking hell, I wish it would have dropped down a gear then or something when I'm trying to go fast. Generally, it knows what it's doing and works well with the engine. It's meant to be something like 170 brake and 170 pound-foot, which don't sound a lot, but considering it's sort of it's like a little TDO 4 turbo or something, and it spools up almost immediately, so you've got like, but it doesn't really run out of puff at the top end, so from sort of 2.5 grand to 6.5 grand, it feels like you've pretty much got all of that power. It's just got a really wide rev range, so it more than makes up for the fact that it's not actually got massive peak numbers, because not going to keep up with even something like a Civic Type R or something with 200 brake, but it holds its own against cars, you know, hot hatches with similar power, but obviously weigh a damn sight less than whatever this Volvo estate weighs. It's ugly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just it's a bit of a crappy car in sort of some awful olivey, greeny, bronzy, Jewish racing gold. I don't even know what bloody colour it is. It's awful. You know, it's not rusty, it's not dented, it's got the odd mark and stuff, but the inside the seats are getting a bit threadbare. But the heated seats work, which is brilliant. The aircon works, which is brilliant. Heater controls are the most random. I've never known a car like it, that usually heater controls just don't work. These have a mind of their own, so if you change it to hot or cold, it decides when it wants to agree with you. So you can put it to cold, it might go cold straight away, or it might go cold in an hour, or it might go cold in 3 weeks. You don't know. It's a game. So you got to predict the weather, because if it's boiling hot and you set it to cold, but it's going to be freezing the next day, you might have to suffer with cold air only and air conditioning on constantly until it decides to be nice to you and change back to hot again. Considering I've done, I don't even know how many miles, but many miles in this car, up and down the country, literally, I think I've had about 40 turbos in this car at once in the past. I've had engines, I've done dozens of trips to the tip with just everything from metal to guard and stuff. Brilliant, it is shit hot. If you ever get a chance to buy a cheap, tidy Volvo V40 2.0T estate thing, just get one. They're it's got one fault with the engine, which nobody knows what it is, and that's probably the only reason I'm going to just get rid of it. It's never like to start very well. Sometimes it will, sometimes it starts first turn of the key. Sometimes you'll be cranking it over for a few seconds. But lately it's got worse where, well, not worse lately, it's been about 8 months, 9 months like this, where sometimes you can crank it over for about 10 seconds before it finally kicks into life. And when it does, it smells rich as hell, and sometimes even to the extent it's misfiring a bit, then we'll cut straight back out again unless you get on the gas to keep the revs up yourself. But then after 30 seconds, if that, it will clear and it will drive completely normally, like nothing's ever happened. It's not lost a single bit of performance, it's not lost any economy, it's not lost anything, so it's God knows what it is. 134,000 on it, but you wouldn't think of it from driving it. It drives better than most cars with sort of, apart from that weird starting problem, it drives better than most cars with sort of 100,000 less miles on the bloody thing. I want to go and take some photos now. I've washed it so I can put it up on eBay. I'll put the link for the eBay ad once I do this video. The car's not going to be worth a huge amount, but I don't need it, and anything's better than nothing, and it'll help me pay for, well, for making Stav-Tech better, to be fair, because YouTube videos ain't going to pay me any money for a while, that's for sure. I want to test a couple of things. Not rocket, but yeah, I do need better camera equipment, but we've got to live with what I've got for the minute, because this is all I got. I want something with an external microphone would do the job. Like, see these Monkey London videos, and the turbo chatter and stuff sounds mental on these cars, and they're not really that loud, but that's because it's got microphones right by the turbo and whatever, so it emphasises that. So, I mean, in fair play, it does sound good. It's a bit cheating, but whatever, at least it's clearer than this. And for when I'm doing actual performance stuff, mental stuff, it does sound crazy. We're going to want that, aren't we? So, you know, don't expect me to be talking like him or the hey dudes and all that crap. On brakes, on the gas, go. In 7.1 seconds. There you go. This car is way faster than they say from the factory when you brake boost it. I knew it weren't shy, this car. I'm going to have another go. 7.1, you might get 6.9 if you give it loads. hard to believe me if it weren't happening right now, but it is happening right now. Right, so once again, 0 to 60, foot hard, brake and the accelerator, go. With performance times, 7.1 to 7.5 is like a blink of an eye, tiniest little bit of wheel spin, and it's addictive, to be fair. I like timing stuff because you get no end of surprises. You get people at cars who, you know, they think they're faster than they really are, or you get stuff like this where this is actually faster than I'd have ever thought it was. Maybe one more go. Right, load it up. Go. 7.2. There you go, weren't even a fluke, that'll do. 7.1 and 7.2 is proof enough. I don't know if this car is a freak or if they're all like it, but 16 7.1 one run, 7.3 or whatever it was the other run, and that was with wheel spin on a freezing ass cold mid-November night with good traction. That's in the 6s without a shadow of doubt. That span all the way through first gear. It didn't bog, but it span instead. So realistically, this car is in the 6s, so yeah, no wonder I always enjoyed pissing people off in this car off the traffic lights. This makes me kind of not want to sell it now. I could hook up a boost gauge to see how much boost is running, but to be fair, I don't care. But if that's the case and it has been tuned, then the stories of these engines being really unreliable with even a remap entry, we need link to a plug and play ECU for that car, well, for that engine. So I want to buy that, but it's going to cost me link plug and play ECUs around 1,200 quid at least, I think. So maybe Santa Claus will buy it for me, because I've been good. Apart from I haven't been good. I've got loads of other things already written down, planned out for Stav-Tech videos actually. This wasn't even planned out, this was come to mind, so probably for every one video I've got written down that I can do, as in I've got the equipment for, I don't have to buy anything or wait for anything. You might end up with 2 videos when I just think of random stuff to do. There would have been a good one with my friend's Renault 5 being mapped, which might well have made about 300 brake from a standard 1.4 litre bottom end push rod 1960s design crap. A standard bottom end, 255 horsepower, and was coping fine and was level knife and was taking a lot of abuse, to be fair, considering the meant to be unreliable. But we knew, well, allegedly the conrod limit was around somewhere around there, but we didn't know where it really was. And then cylinder 4 went slightly lower on compression. One of the rods was ever so slightly bent. So yeah, not enough to knock or cause any problems, but enough so it was sitting slightly lower in the cylinder than all the others. So the compression was lower, and yeah, game over. So he's got some H-beam rods and forged pistons and rated liners for it, and now it's sort of 300 horsepower plus or bust job. Gen 2 GTX 2860 with a 86 exhaust housing on it, so turbo's plenty. It's got tubular manifolds, custom inlet manifold, EFI. It's got a Piper 270 cam, and I don't agree with. I think that's too mild. These so-called GT Turbo experts told him a 270 is all you need for like all the power in the world. I've since found out that these guys claiming to run big power on a 270 aren't really running 270s, they're liars. Complete liars. They were custom cams with more lift than a normal 270. I think a 285 timed to 114 degrees rather than the normal 112 is perfect, but they claimed it was bad, and I think they just claimed that to try and stop people taking their glory by getting more power in them, but whatever. Anyway, buy this fucking car.